Today I am going to paint a blooming cactus. Hi friends, I am Olga Koelsch, a watercolor artist, teacher and a book author. Welcome to my studio. I would like to paint a blooming cactus, therefore the blooming part will be very important and the rest I will organize slightly chaotical, let's say, just connecting these oval shapes, small ones, bigger one on the top. You can really go creative right here, right? Usually cactus, they're dry and they have this muted green. If you have greens like perlin green, that would be great, but if you just have phthalo green, you can damp it with a bit of red, for example cadmium red, firstly pretty diluted mix, and the same mix but more creamy. See how often I use phthalo green, it's almost empty, although I have another range of greens. And let's damp it. So the green should tend more to gray. So I will start painting with my big brush, and I covering these oval shapes, and sometimes I just leave white areas here and there. Of course, you can also use just masking liquid, but I think it's not that complicated, just to paint around and leave a couple of white spots left. Firstly, painting super light, and let's just start from those shapes which are not so important. And sometimes it's easy if you firstly paint those spots and then later make a wash around them, as we did in Daisy's lesson, basically same principle. I would like to add a bit more of olive green, very diluted, just to the same mix, otherwise it's too similar to boring. Basically one wash. And I used paper type because I like how it will be framed after I will remove it. Firstly, we can add this space, leaving some space for the future thorns. And I try to add just different shadows of light green mix. We will add more paints into that later. The more we're moving towards the bottom, the darker green you can use. You already start to add a bit of our darker green, mixing it with each other, painting around those spots of white paper. This is a pretty loose painting, just try to be relaxed and dream about vacations, for example. Let's add a bit more on the top. Just imagine how the main shape will grow. When you add those spots, you can make them bigger because it will be very easy to make them smaller. After you paint over, you can correct the shape, you can even remove if you think it is too much and not necessary. You try to work relatively quick, so you will use the time while your paper is wet and it will be just nice plain wash. Let's start it light, outline, a lot of dots, white areas. No need to cover everything, we're just moving from top to bottom, and I prepare, so to say, closest area for me when I'm doing this. And I want to add some contrast. This is pretty light. On the background, I will make this one already a bit darker. If you accidentally paint over some of these spots, absolutely no worry. Let's paint the flower. For the flower, you can really pick up your favorite pinks, quinacridone rose I have. And also, if you make it with some orange, it will get a bit coral touch. And I slide my brush in this way to create the petals, I just bring my brush from tops to the bottom and I lift my brush here and there, and that will create these spontaneous dry brush strokes. It's always nice to add a different touch of different pink in your painting while all those spots are still wet. You can play around. Usually the flowers are beautiful, they're multi-petaled. I can make shorter brush strokes in the area more close to us and try to bring them somewhere to one spot. It's very convenient to grab another brush and use paints like olive green, maybe even mixed with extra yellow to make it more onto the yellow side, brighter side, and a couple of details inside the flower, this fresh greenery. Now I use my brush, the tip of the brush, and almost dry paint right from the pen about this. As we're painting pinks, let's paint a smaller bud on the top. Bolder mix right from the pen, and I just let it all flow. Let's paint again this guy, which attached to this top. Painting around, carefully painting around the flower. A couple of smaller guys growing right from here. If you feel brave enough, you can switch it to another brush, grab the pink mix right now, right wet and wet, add a couple of brush strokes, and then with bold mix of pink mix, add a dot right in between the bud and the green part, so it will flow in both directions. I find it very beautiful to watch, just to watch how it all flows. These side guys, if this one was more oval, you can make the other one more rounded. Let's repeat the trick. Firstly, a bit of diluted flower, but don't make them too big, because this is our focal of the main flower. This is big, and the rest you can make very small. And then I have bold pink on my brush, and I place it right in between both greens and pink, connecting them. When we add shadows, we need to decide where the light is. I suggest light will be on the right side, because it's very logically blooms moving towards the sunlight. Therefore, all the shadows will be on the left side. Let's firstly start with the flower, because it's the most complicated part. First, we need to connect it. Let's add just the connection, bold mix, and then just the shadow part. Just covering this plant, this green part with a shadow. It should not be even. Just imagine how this flower can create a shadow, maybe some petals. We can recognize some petals within the shadow, a little bit here. So basically painting the flower upside down. Now let's of course make more shadows underneath, right here. They all have some thickness, and this thicker part is also a bit darker, has some shape. Sometimes they have these sectors, can be also affect it with the shadow a bit more of, if sun shines from there, that means the opposite side will be mostly in the shadow. And again, we can add just a bit of shadow under white parts, white spots here and there. Shadow, we have a flower here. There will be a shadow underneath the flower. And same here, something happening in this area. We can add a bit of darkness to this front one. I will paint over it with darker spot, leaving a little bit of light part. Everything for the contrast. We have something light, it's nice to add something dark, a bit more. A bit of details like this. Let's connect it just with brush strokes. We're connecting it. You see the trick, if you just add the shadow, it's already will feel brighter right here. And now let's switch to a smaller brush, pink mix, and then with the tip of the brush, let's paint inside those white spots. Very quick, spontaneous moves, just imitating those. Sometimes they're fronds or buds, a bit of texture. It's great to add a couple of details, like small dots around, very typical, maybe a couple of petals. It's nice to add some thorns on the side. It will also prevent from being too boring with them shapes. Couple of more of details, one on one side, cute like this, on the other side. Why not to add another flower? Dry brush strokes. I would like to paint it like this to connect those shapes. Pink mixed with yellow ochre for the fronds, which we can see aside. What we can see on the side clusters, so not one. Usually where is one, there are 2 or 3. This decorating can take a while, and you can go as long as you need into this, as long as you like. Usually no need to paint each and every needle, each and every thorn. Give an idea of what's happening here. This is basically it. Let's remove the type. As a bit of a cheating, I think I would like to make this flower not cut by the type, so I just use my pink and add a couple of strokes outside of this area, and that's really enough to show the full beauty of this flower. And now our cactus sketch is ready. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the process. I'm looking forward to see your ideas. What would you like to paint next? And see you soon. Bye bye.